Hi, I'm Matt from eSpares. In this video, I'll show you how to use a multimeter to test the fridge freezer temperature sensor on your fridge freezer. If your fridge is not cold enough, or it's feeling very cold and is freezing your food, it may be that the temperature sensor is faulty and it needs to be replaced. The best way to test this is with a multimeter. Now, we're going to be using, on this video, the fridge compartment, but the process for a temperature sensor on the freezer compartment is very similar. A multimeter is a test tool designed to measure two or more electrical values for voltage, amps or ohms. When testing parts in an appliance, you can use the multimeter to check for these measurements. If the reading is above or below the required amount, or there is no reading at all, it means the part is faulty and will need to be replaced. Before using your multimeter, make sure your appliance is switched off and fully disconnected from the mains. For this repair, you'll need a multimeter, a Phillips head screwdriver and a flat head screwdriver. And you can find a link to these in the description below if you don't already have them. The first thing you need to do is to remove the contents of your fridge as well as any shelves or drawers. Next, we need to remove the evaporator cover. Before we do that, just check that there's no ice in the screw holes or in the vent, because if there is, it could mean there's ice behind the cover and you will not be able to remove the cover without damaging it. So leave it to defrost for around 48 hours and try again. And it's a good idea to place a towel at the base of the fridge to soak up any water during this process. If you don't see any ice, you can go ahead and remove the cover. First, release the two clips from the top by prising them away with a flathead screwdriver. Then remove the two screws at the top of the cover and the two at the bottom, and also the two screws that hold the tank in place, because you need to remove that as well. You can now pull the evaporator fan cover towards you. There are electrical connections holding it in place at the top here, so just disconnect those and then you can lift the evaporator fan cover out of the way. On the right hand side, when facing the fridge, you'll see a block of 3 plugs. And disconnect the top plug, as this is the one that's connected to the temperature sensor. And then unclip the temperature sensor from the gas pipe. To set up your multimeter, place the black probe into the black socket at the bottom of the multimeter and the red probe into the red volts socket here. And set the resistance on the multimeter to 20,000 kilo ohms. To test your temperature sensor, attach the two probes of the multimeter onto the electrical connections and you should have a reading. Now, if you put the temperature sensor into a mug of very cold water or ice, the reading should continue to rise, which means your temperature sensor is still working. If it doesn't rise, this means your temperature sensor is faulty and it needs to be replaced. Once you discover that your temperature sensor is faulty, you're going to need to replace it. To do that, you need the exact model number of your appliance, and if you see our video here, it details exactly where to find the appliance model number for your fridge freezer. Once you have the correct model number, you can then purchase a brand new temperature sensor from the eSpares website, and there's a link to where to find that in the description below. Fit the temperature sensor to the gas pipe. I just connecting it via the plastic fitting, and then fit the electrical connection into the plug. You can then place the evaporator cover into position, refit the electrical connections, then refit the screws, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom, and also the 2 that hold the tank in place. You can then fit the covers at the top, making sure they click into place. Then replace any drawers and shelves, and of course food and drink. So there we have it, how to test a temperature sensor on a fridge freezer using a multimeter. And now that your fridge freezer is up and running again, it's a good idea to make sure that it's running as safely as possible. Check out our video down below, which gives great advice and tips on how to keep your fridge and your home safe. And for more information and videos on how to test other parts in your fridge freezer using a multimeter, and how to fix the faults in your other household and garden appliances, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.